Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV, and we are here for the Arsenal gossip column. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but I had to get a few things sorted first. But make sure you do smash that like and subscribe button if you are new. Big up Blues Podcast, as always, leaving the love on there. Big up King Tony as well. We're talking, like, there's a lot to talk about with Arsenal. I haven't done this in a while, actually, this show. But we're going to do it anyway. And there's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. So I'm going to go through each single step, including also a little bit about the game. We've got to clear something up about this game coming up with Liverpool. Right? Now, until someone from the FA, the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup, until Arsenal come out with it, or Liverpool come out with it, you know, I am not, right, we are not going to say that it's been called off, right? Right? We can't say it's been called off until they have come out and said it's called off, right? They've put a request in to have it postponed. It does not mean it's called off. And I'm talking to, Luca in this, for example, stop saying it's called off on Twitter. People have got to make plans to go to these games. Some of them have got to travel as far as from Liverpool to come all the way down to London, stay overnight, watch the game and come back up again. And what they don't need is people coming on there saying it's been called off when it hasn't. Right? Because they can end up, it's not totally confirmed yet. Right? And if it does go ahead and they waste a valuable Arsenal-Liverpool ticket, away ticket, right? That's 30 quid down the bloody drain, right? Plus also if they've booked and then cancelled and then had to rebook again, because of false information, that's a lot of money down their end, right? So just it's all because, and do you know why people do this? They do this because I want to be the first one to say, I told you so. I predicted it was going to be called off. So look at me, I'm right. So what? Do you get money for it? Do you get paid to be correct before everyone else? No. No. So what's the problem? Why is it that, people have to be so obsessed about being right first? You're not getting paid for it. So what? So, I don't get people that just want to, quickly come out with statements that aren't true, because they want to be the first one to say, I told you so. I don't get it. I really just don't get it. But there you go. Big up Reverend John, my guy. Yeah, Reverend John, the end of that quiz, you did lose, by the way. He got 67 out of 71. You got 59 out of 71. How he named nearly every single driver from that era, even all the way back to the 50s, so the Monaco Grand Prix. I haven't got a clue. I thought that was going to be a tough one, but that was really good, to be honest. I thought those questions would be a lot easier than you lot were expecting them to be. But if there's any F1 fans that do want to do a future quiz in the meantime, do let me know. And if you want me to do a football quiz of the same ilk, do let me know, because I'd love to see if I can do one. But yeah, that was sort of making up the questions myself on that one. It was good. It was really, really good. Big up Connor, hope you're well. Big up James, I hope you're well as well, mate. Wow, Matt is a beast. Please, more quizzes in the future. Yeah, if we got time, mate, we'll definitely do it. Don't you worry. Smash the likes and subscribe if you are new. If you haven't become a member, like James here, what are you doing? What are you doing? Become a member, right? Donate to the charity every month. It's from as little as $1.99 a month. It's less than a double... It's less than a Big Mac. That's what it is. It's less than a Big Mac, right? And it's even right. And if you do donate, what, $4.99 a month, it's less than a whole frigging McDonald's meal. Come on. It's literally the price of a McDonald's meal. And you get to save kids' lives doing it. So donating by becoming a member, by donating every month and becoming a member. By the way, if you not been available, you just press the join button down below, mate. There should be the join button. If you're watching on YouTube, there should be a join button down below. Just click on that, and it will send you to that page. If not, yeah, it should be. Oh, what?
I'm asking you nicely.
Alright, yeah, big up, Steve. Yeah, other tech, look, other tech companies are available. Yeah, they are. Don't worry about that. We will be talking about the City game, by the way, and who do we need to get in Jan. But yeah, from as little as $1.99 a month, Featley Warrior $4.99. You just press the join button below. It should work. It should work, as far as I know. It should. I'll send the picture again. I'll send the channel link. I'll send the channel link. There you go. I'll send the channel link. Try that link. See if it works. But there should be just a join button where you can press join. So yeah, Featley Warrior and higher, you'll get to Featley Warrior and higher. Featley Warrior and higher. Yeah, you get to members only live streams as well, which we'll be doing in the future as well. So make sure you tune into them. And you can tune into them by becoming a Featley Warrior or higher, level 2 or higher membership. So get on them right now. So Liverpool, Arsenal, were we robbed or was it our own fault? Like, I want to hear people's opinion. Was it our fault for us losing against Man City, or was it more robbery by the referees? That's the question I firstly want to ask everyone in the chat. For me, it's a kind of a bit of a both. Yes, the referees were shit, and we were both, like, some of the decisions in that game were very, very wrong, and I don't know why they were made, but there you go, we move. It is typical of the referees this season, but yeah, yeah, but I can't sit there and say it's all them on them. I can't sit there and say that. I can't sit there and say it's all on them. For me, it is partly our fault. It is partly our fault. And the reason I say it was partly our fault is because we were doing really, really well. We were doing really well in that game. And because of the penalty incident, young players, naive players who were probably getting excited the fact they were winning 1-0 against Man City, Xhaka did what he usually did, which is being Xhaka, crap, and then we just did what we usually do, which is we got too naive and we fell apart. Gabriel just lost his head. I don't know what was going on with him. He didn't need to dig up the pitch. What was he doing digging up the pitch? And then he just lost his head. I think being booked has pissed him off that much that he just didn't think and made himself look like a right idiot doing it. And as much as people might want to blame the refs, I've always been up. You guys know me. I'm not one to try and blame the ref too much. But I was blaming the ref a bit, but I weren't blaming it as much as I was blaming it on Xhaka and Gabriel. And for me, the reason we lost that game is our mentality. Our mentality in that game went completely. You were on top, controlling it until Xhaka and Gabriel happened. Yeah. Big up Rich Sports. Make sure you go and subscribe to him and leave a like on his videos. Great content at the minute, that he's chucking out. Rich, let us know when you're free at some point, like, and we'll get you on here, man, because I'm always on yours. Like we've got to get you on. I've got to get you on this SFeatleyTV as well. So, do let us know. But yeah, for me, it's the Man City game was a one big missed opportunity because Man City were poor in that game. But the reason they won that game is because, despite us, no matter how poor they were, they didn't let it get to them, and they focused on what they needed to do, and they didn't lose their heads. Simple as that. They had a better mentality than us. Simple. Like, they had a better mentality, So there you go. Like, how many times does Xhaka have to cock up? Look, King Tony, he has to be murdered. He has to commit murder and be arrested by the cops so he doesn't start in the next game. That's pretty much what he has to do. Because if he's allowed out of prison, like, he's allowed to go and start in this game. Simple as that. So, like, these people that put bots in, like, they can all just get lost, these bots. Also, he gets rewarded with the captain's armband. Well, there you go. That's our mentality, innit? Like, why is he getting the armband? You should never be allowed near it. Like, City were there for the taking. We were there. He was there. That's why I said it's a missed opportunity. A very big missed opportunity by Arsenal Football Club. Like, because we should have gone there and embarrassed the crap out of them. Like, and I think any other team probably would have, to be honest. I think if we'd gone maybe a little bit more positive in the second half, we could have done. We could have made it 2 or 3. Like, Martinelli could have scored his goal. That's a good point. But I'm going to bring Brandon. Oh, hang on.
One moment, bro. One moment. I'm just finishing my cigarette.
Oh, noise. Yeah. Yeah, we try not to do that on here if we can. But yeah, problem was both refs and your players. One rule for one team and one other for one. But Arsenal totally lost their heads and have themselves to blame, especially second goal with seconds left. Yeah, with seconds left, we only lost 1-0 to City. I'm also interested to see all nothing series, see what's goes on behind the scenes at Arsenal, mainly to see what Arteta's man managing is actually like. It's good. That would actually be nice to see. Brandon, how are you, my friend? Like, if you haven't gone or done it already, I have put the link in the chat. It should be in the chat, as far as I know of. Right. Let me have a look. Let me just quickly have a look. Yeah, it's pinned up in the chat. He's got a new channel, True Gooners TV, which I believe is replacing your old channel. I believe it is.
Mate, yep, that's right.
Right, so make sure you go and subscribe to that right now. How many subscribers are you up to that now?
I have no idea. I haven't even checked it, mate, to be fair.
Okay. But anyway, make sure you go and subscribe right now because he does great content, got great opinions on Arsenal. He's also Arteta out as well, so that helps. Like, so yeah, man. Long time to see. I mean, the City game. What did you make of that, mate?
It was a tough one to take, mate. It really was a tough one to take because we played so well. We played so well. I haven't seen Arsenal play that well against a big club in years, and it's kind of ironic, really, how Arteta wasn't on the touchline and we played so well. You know what I mean? Like, but no, take nothing away from him. He obviously had some input in what's been happening recently. I think recently you can see the improvement. You can start to see a little bit of progress. The only thing that was worrying me slightly is the teams that we've faced are opposition that we should be beating anyway. So the City game was a major test to see how far we've come. And I know they'd only played literally like 3 days before, and we had the week off and that. But honestly, mate, I was so disappointed at not to even get a point out of that game. Like we fully deserved the 3 points the way that we played, and
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think Man City deserved anything from that game. To be honest,
they
I think
certainly
most
didn't.
Man City fans admitted it as well. They didn't deserve anything from that game.
100%. But this is one thing that I would say about Man City. The reason why Manchester City are the best team in the country and
They,
arguably the best team in the world is because they can turn up and they can play poorly and still get the 3
yeah,
points. And that is what makes a great team. And it's unfortunate, mate, but I see a lot of people are blaming the referee. Nah, not for me, mate. Not for me. I mean, I felt a bit aggrieved because I felt we should have had a penalty in the first half, and I still
I
stand by
agree
that
with
now.
that. I agree with that. I feel for me, it's a bit. That was a pen for me.
Mm.
And it should have been that one should have been checked more by VAR than the actual Xhaka one, to be honest. But I feel that despite that, it's more the fact that though the decisions are going against us, we let that get to our heads, and like Gabriel, most of all, just completely lost it. Xhaka just
Yeah,
does what he normally does, which is just try and take everyone out. Like, but like Gabriel, which was a shock to me, just decided he was going to completely lose his head on that. The
mm,
first yellow card was just stupid. Apparently, he was digging up the own penalty spot, which I think was
mm.
just like. I mean, you should be arrested for doing that at the Emirates, like digging up our pitch. But
Yes and no. I mean, I'm kind of shocked that you said that you're surprised by Gabriel's actions because if you think back to last season and even earlier on in this season, I think it was against Southampton. He did the same thing. He made the same sort of challenge
oh yeah, I mean yeah,
um,
remember that?
on
Yeah.
the halfway line, got himself sent off. And the thing is as a
It's
professional
just that it's
footballer,
been so well recently. That's why it was a bit of a shock.
oh yeah, you know, he's been excellent this season, no doubt about it. But as a professional footballer, you've got to learn to read the game. And when I say read the game, I don't necessarily mean from a footballing point of view, but more from the referee's actions throughout that game. I mean, literally every single decision was going against us. Like we was getting yellow cards for cynical challenges, and then Man City would make a similar cynical challenge and wouldn't get anything. And
Oh, Rodri got about
everything was
six,
going
seven
against.
challenges and he didn't get a booking
Mm.
until I
So
think it was they got a booking when someone took their shirt off for
yeah.
the celebration. That was it.
So in that instance, as a footballer, as a professional, you've got to think to yourself, right? Well, you know, everything's going against us today. So if I make a stupid decision, whether it be a red card or a yellow card or not, I know that this referee is very very card happy. He's going to get his cards out for whatever reason. He just is, and in that moment, you've got to look for a little bit of calm. Now, I actually blame Granit Xhaka a little bit more than I do Gabriel because Gabriel's still a young man. He's still learning to a degree. He's been excellent this season. But for me, Granit Xhaka, right, you're dangling out a leg in the penalty box. That's a
Oh,
no-no straight away, right? And then you grab hold of the geezer's shirt. Now, I've watched replays back, and if I'm being honest, it is a very, very, very soft penalty, but it is a penalty. You know, you dangle out a leg, and you've got a reputation for that sort of thing.
the thing is
Unfortunately,
for me,
it's
even
going
if
to go
it is a
against you.
pen, the thing is for me, even if it is not a pen or if it's a pen, either or, you're giving the referee an excuse,
And the decision to
right?
make,
And you
yes.
know how the decision's been going against us, and then you decide to go give something that could quite easily be given as a penalty,
But
right?
it
It's
wasn't even that, Stephen. It wasn't even that bothered me so much.
mm,
He's given away a penalty. That's it's Granit Xhaka. You know,
yeah,
he does this. He does do this. But the thing that I didn't like afterwards was how he lost his head, and that kind of kick-started how every other player on the pitch lost their head because
mm,
Granit Xhaka is supposed to be a leader, right? And You know, a lot of people,
Sorry.
even players in our dressing room, have said that Granit Xhaka sets a very good example off the pitch, but he doesn't set a good enough example on the
On
pitch.
the
That's the
pitch.
problem for me, because I think what happened there was he lost his head because it was given a penalty. Everything was going against us, and I kind of understand it to a degree, but at the same time, the referee made the correct decision, whether you like it or not. It was a penalty, right? And rather than thinking, right, okay, fair enough, the decision's been made, it is what it is, right, let's regroup as a team now, let's make sure we look for a little bit of calm. He lost his head, then in turn, Gabriel lost his head, a few
Yeah.
other players lost their heads, and I also think that is down to a little bit of nervousness as well, because with Manchester City equalising, we all know that Man City are the best team in the country, and if they decide that they
Hmm.
want to turn it on at any moment, they can just go through the gears and blow teams away. So I think it was a little bit of nervousness because we'd played so well up until that point, and that kind of affected us. But what I don't like is seeing all these fan cams and these Arsenal fans blaming the referee. For me, I feel a bit aggrieved, as I said earlier, because I thought, you know, we should have probably had a penalty ourselves in the
Mm.
first half. But for me, again, that isn't the referee. That is VAR is being used wrong, in my opinion. Anything that is a penalty decision, right? Let's just say, for example, Mo Salah. He's one of the main culprits for this.
Oh
If
yeah.
he blatantly dives in the box and VAR checks it and says, no, no, definitely not a penalty, then that's fair enough. But any of
Mm.
these 50-50 decisions where it could literally go either way, why is the person in charge of VAR not sending the referee to the monitor? I think every
Hmm.
single time that is literally like a flip of a coin as to whether it could be or not, the referee should be the person to make that decision and be sent over to the monitor to have another look. And that didn't happen in that instance, but it happened on the Man City one. And the thing that gets to me the most is Odegaard's one looked more 50-50
Yeah.
than the Man City one. I mean, the Man City one, for me, it was obvious it was a penalty. And
Yeah.
yet they still sent the referee over to the monitor. It didn't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
So, in my
The
opinion,
thing
mate,
for me with the Odegaard one is like the reason I would send the ref to the monitor for that one is not so much as 50-50. For me, I thought it was clear pen, right?
mm,
But like my initial reaction was clear pen. Um, when I when you see the replay, it's like, well, that's got to go to VAR. That's got to go to the monitor because you can't see. You can't
mm,
see if Ederson's touched the ball or Odegaard's touched the ball,
yeah,
right? Because if it's Ederson's touched the ball, it's a perfectly good tackle, right? If Odegaard's touched the ball, it's a clear penalty because he's going to get the ball and be able to cross it in,
yeah,
right? And it's a bookable offence as well. And you've not, and they've not even sent into the monitor and that because you can't even see because of Ederson's hand and where Odegaard's positioned. You can't see where the
mm,
contact's being made. So how can you tell it's a penalty or not? You
yeah.
have to go to the monitor to see if it's a penalty.
But in my
Like
opinion,
whereas
my
Saka, it's like in broad daylight. It's like you're going to rob a bank in the middle of busy like Leicester Square, in like the middle of Trafalgar Square. Everyone's going to notice you're starting to rob a bank. Like
yeah,
so, whereas this one, it's like you're trying to escape out of a concentration camp in the middle of the night. Like the Odegaard, that's the Odegaard one where it's you can't really see it. So
yeah, yeah. But in my overall opinion, mate, I don't think any of the decisions is what cost us the game. We cost ourselves the
yeah,
game. It wasn't Man City that beat Arsenal. It was Arsenal that beat
yeah,
Arsenal. You know,
our
um,
mentality.
I genuinely think if Gabriel doesn't get sent off, if Granit Xhaka isn't doing his stupidness, then we pick up the 3 points because
Mm.
we was just on it that day,
Do
and
you
Man City weren't.
Do you feel though the start of the second half? Because I will just mention this before we move on is that the start of the second half for me, I felt that the reason they got their pen is I feel that Man City. I felt that Arteta because before usually once we score a goal we back off, and we let the team back in the game again, right? We didn't see that until half time. After we came out after half time, you saw us back off. And what it means to me is that I think Arteta spoke to them at half time and told them to do what they would do after they've scored a goal, which is to sit back a bit. And that's what I think has happened there. Instead of going at the same tempo, they've sat back a bit, and it's given Man City a chance to get back in the game. And that's for me. That's how I saw it for the beginning of the second half.
Yes and no. Yes and no. We've seen it in games before when Arteta has been on the touchline, but I do think it's kind of a little bit of a lack of experience in our team. You know, we've got a young squad, and we use all our energy in the first 45 minutes, and then when we come out in the second 45 minutes, and in a lot of games, we tend not to really look the same. And like you say, we do drop off. I think it was maybe a little bit of a tactical ploy as well, because, you know, Manchester City, they weren't that great in that first half, and we was excellent in that first half. But let's take nothing away. This is Manchester City, and when Pep Guardiola gets them in at half-time, you just know that they're going to come out a completely different opposition to what they were in the first half. So you have to sort of give that little bit of caution at the same time. So I kind of, to a degree, I understand a little bit of us, you know, sort of sitting off and trying to hit them on the counter-attack instead. But it was just stupidness that cost us the game, mate. And unfortunately, you know, we could have come away with 3 points. I'm very disappointed we didn't even get 1 point. You know, I think it was very unlucky to concede the goal at the end. But the reality of it is, whether Arsenal fans like it or not, as well as we played against Manchester City, the most important game now is Tottenham away, because that game is a 6-pointer. You know, if we don't get 3 points in that game, all of a sudden, you know, let's say, for example, we lose against Tottenham, which, you know, we haven't got a great record away against Tottenham. So let's say, for example, we lose that game, all of a sudden Tottenham are in the top 4 now, and we're pushed back out the top 4, and we're the ones chasing. Whereas as if we pick up 3 points,
game in hand as well.
It's
2 games in hand.
Exactly. So Arsenal fans have got to be very careful. I mean, we're no doubt about it. We made progress, and we're looking a lot more of a better, fluid attacking side than what we was at the beginning of the season now. But there is still a long way to go in this top 4 race. And I know Manchester United lost last night, but trust me, with the players that they have and the quality that they have in their squad, all it takes is for Ralph Rangnick to get it right, and they can all of a sudden be back in that race as well. So
just don't play Phil Jones.
Well, to be fair, Phil Jones had he was probably their best player last night, and that's saying something. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
I don't think that's a good thing from Man United's point of view.
No, I wouldn't count your chickens just yet, Arsenal, because at the end of the day, we've got Spurs to play. I think we need to play a strong team against Liverpool on Thursday as well, because at the end of the day, we are still Arsenal Football Club. We need to be winning trophies, whether that's the League Cup, FA Cup, it does not matter. We need to be winning silverware. We're supposed to be one of the biggest clubs in this country. And you have to win silverware as an Arsenal player or as an Arsenal manager. You have to. That's just, it.
I get that, and I wouldn't. And don't get me wrong, I would take the Carabao Cup if it comes around to it. The thing for me with the top 4 versus Carabao Cup debate is if top 4 meant that we could attract what we need to be able to push on and go challenge for the league, then if it meant sacrificing a Carabao Cup to go do that, I wouldn't mind too much, because in the long term, that's what I want. I haven't seen Arsenal win for 17 years.
But I want to do that. I want to ask you this question, Stephen. Why should we sacrifice either? At the end of the day,
we should be doing it.
People won't like this, but we've been out of the top 4 now for how many years? 4 years?
since 2016-17, I believe. So it's about
Yeah,
nearly
so
5 years now.
nearly 5 years now, right? So, of course, that has got to be our main aim with Manchester United. Just not hitting the heights that we thought they would hit this season. It is a great opportunity for us to get in that top four. However, as I just said, we are Arsenal Football Club. We need to be winning trophies. We're in a semi-final, and we're playing Liverpool next, which is a tough game. But we've got to remember that Mo Salah's not going to be there because he's at the AFCON. Mane's not going to be there because he's at the AFCON. So there is a big opportunity here for Arsenal to make it to a final of a League Cup.
Do you
where we're
feel it's
going
gonna
to
go
play.
ahead? Because at the minute they've requested it to be postponed because of the COVID case at the minute. At the moment, it's still like it has not been called off. I know some people want to say it's been called off. Luca being one of them. But it hasn't been called off yet. It's still. We're still. How do we put it? It's being requested by the FA, by Liverpool to postpone it. Do you feel like going ahead on Thursday with the way its situation is with them?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? Jurgen Klopp has been complaining for the last month or two about the fixture list and how it's all piled up and players with COVID and this, that, and the other. So it wouldn't surprise me one little bit if
I wouldn't
it
be
did end up
surprised he's
being
like
called.
Wenger. He turn out like he unreleases. You do like like a revealing under his mask if you find out he's Wenger, like moaning about the refs, like the game fixture list, right? The winds, the rain, the weather, like yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
that's like a blast from the past, isn't it? It's just
So no, it wouldn't surprise me if it was called off. You just never know at the moment. With COVID being rife how it is, and you just don't know what games are going to go ahead and what aren't. But as you said, at the moment it hasn't been called off. So looking ahead to that game, I think we're in a strong position. We're in a good form, even though we lost against Man City the other day. We're playing well. We're in good form. It's an opportunity for
it
us to
might.
make it to a final.
It also might
Why
be an
not?
advantage. It might be also an advantage if it did get called off because we've just spent all that energy trying to play Man City, which takes a lot of energy. If we're playing it in a game where we're playing Brighton or Crystal Palace or a lower league team, right? I don't want to call anyone out because it's been disrespectful, but a lower league team, and we don't have to. We could save some players in that game. It might prove to be beneficial because then we could really go all out in the Liverpool game, especially if we've got another game which is sort of a lower league opposition as well. So
Mm.
it could also work out as a bonus, as a like as a sort of benefit to us as well.
Yeah.
So depending where the game's going to land. So, but you sort of you never can tell. So maybe it's just better to get it all over and done with.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's the best time to play Liverpool is now. I would be disappointed if
Mm.
that game was called off, to be honest with you, because I think with their two most threatening players at the AFCON. Yes, okay, we've just played Manchester City, but we can afford to play a stronger team against Liverpool on Thursday because we've got Nottingham Forest on Saturday or Sunday or whenever it is in the FA Cup. So players can be rested for that game, um, you know, and then we can start looking ahead to Tottenham, which is the very important game. Make no mistake about it; it is a
Mm.
6-pointer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, James, I mentioned that before. I think earlier on Football United TV about the Patterson King signing. So a striker and a DM, maybe Ruben Neves. I'd also say a defender we need as well. We're going to talk a bit about that about what we need in January. Um, but first, like I wanted to mention about Smith Rowe recently.
Hmm.
Smith Rowe for me recently has been obviously he's been benched for the last 3, 4, 5 games. And I don't know why, because he's been very good in the balance of the team. It's not like it's affected the balance of the team in any way. Whether he's been on the it's not like we've not played poorly when he's been on the pitch, unlike Aubameyang. So it worries me. It's like, okay, it's been Saka's turn, now it's Pepe's turn, now it's Miss Rowe's turn. Like, to sort of, you have to sit on the bench and sit on the bench for about 3 months before you get a look in. So so that's my biggest fear with that. And people, and do you know what I loved it is that people were saying Smith Rowe smashing it right now, he needs to be starting every game. And now all of a sudden, because he's being benched every 5 or for the last 5 games, now it's, yeah, but he's great as an impact sub. Well, hang on. 1 minute you were saying you wanted him playing every week because he's smashing it out the park, and as soon as, even though he's smashing it out the park, he's been dropped anyway because he needed a rest. You're now saying, oh, he's better as an impact sub. Well, which one is it? Like, this is where the Arteta agenda comes in again. Like, and
so you're gonna think I'm turning Arteta in or something shit like that. But honestly, I actually, I'm happy with the way things are at the moment. At the end of the day, I look at it like this, right?
Yeah, you need a temperature check.
Smith Rowe, Smith Rowe, he was doing great. He was doing great. He needed a rest. He'd been rested. And unfortunately, in that time, whether we like it or not, Odegaard's been very good. So it's tough for Smith Rowe to get back in that team, because who's he gonna come in for? Martinelli? Martinelli's been excellent. Saka, he's pretty much undroppable at the moment because he's scoring goals left, right, and centre.
The one thing is Saka. The one thing Saka for me, Saka's the real one that hasn't really had a time to be dropped, and which worries me, or has always been worrying me, because like, you're gonna burn him out. Now, Martinelli, you say about Martinelli, I won't want to drop him because I don't think I'll ever see him again. Like, Odegaard, you know what I mean? So like, Odegaard would probably be like, if you're going to replace him with anyone, replace him with Odegaard. Like, but then again, Odegaard's had his time as well. I mean, what about Pepe? Obviously, if Pepe's been sat on the bench, he's not even getting a look in, even in the Man City game. Like, even when we could have thrown the kitchen sink at one point, like, they'd still pick over an El Neni over Pepe. Like, surely he deserves like some opportunity off the bench, or 30 mins off the bench impacts, like, at some point, because this, people have a go at Pepe. There's still a player there. Like, there's definitely a player there. So
what people have got to remember about Pepe, right, is I don't particularly rate Pepe myself. I don't. I think he's far too inconsistent. I think that's his biggest problem.
I can agree with that. He's got.
But in terms of goal scoring and assist creating ability, he's got it, because at the end of the day, whether people like it or not, he was our top goal scorer last season in all competitions. He was, high up there with the assists as well. So, he's got end product. I think the biggest problem with Pepe is, in order for him to be able to be more dangerous, he needs an overlapping fullback. We see that against Sunderland.
Yeah.
He had Cedric overlapping, and when you've got an overlapping fullback, it takes one of the defenders away from him, so he's not being doubled up on all the time. And I find that with Pepe, he's a very skillful player, but he gets doubled up on an awful lot, and he finds it difficult to beat more than one man. So he needs an overlapping fullback. Tomiyasu doesn't really overlap. Bellerin never really overlapped it, either, when he was here last season. So it's difficult for Pepe, and I think that's also why, when Pepe plays on the left instead of the right, you get a better performance out of him, because Tierney is always overlapping. Tavares is always overlapping. So there is, you know, there is like something to point out there, and I don't know why Arteta or whoever hasn't realised this just yet. But Pepe is a lot better when you've got an overlapping fullback. But then again, saying that, it might just not be how Mikel Arteta wants to specifically play. Maybe he wants that one fullback who overlaps all the time, and then the other fullback who kind of sits back, helps out with the defence a little bit when we get caught on the counter. So I think it's a bit unfair that Pepe hasn't had many opportunities to prove himself this season, but then at the
Mhm.
same time, he hasn't really done himself any major favours, and I think he's just one of them players who has got all the ability in the world, but he doesn't show it often enough, and I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, the only thing I could probably defend with that is that I don't think he's ever had a proper run of games at times. When he starts performing well, he ends up getting dropped. I saw that a lot last season. So yeah, for me that's my gripe with that one. But I mean, I'd love to see him under a different manager with another that fullback, see what they could do with him.
Do you think? Do you think he'll be sold in the summer?
I think he will do. I think if he's not getting started with ahead of El Neni and that, he's gone. He's so gone. Because even when we need an attacking option, they're preferring Nketiah over Pepe, which speaks volumes to be honest. To be honest, if that's happening, I would literally be on. If I was his age, if I was him, I'll be on my. I'll be on the blower to my agent saying, "Get me out of here," because that guy does not deserve to be starting over me, to be picked up off the bench over me. So yeah, we've got Nottingham Forest this weekend, James. Bearing in mind it all goes ahead, by the way. Yeah. But so by the way, in terms of the Man City, the Liverpool game, the preview is still going ahead as it stands right now. So yeah, January obviously transfer window's now open. January transfer window. Make sure you keep, by the way, hitting that like button and subscribe button. Make sure you hit the link to True Gunners TV as well. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button there. But yeah, the the January transfer window's open. Arsenal are linked with a couple of players in this window. I think a loan option that's been heavily linked is Wijnaldum. A link, and then there's a striking option, obviously with the whole Aubameyang situation. He could be going to Newcastle. We've got a situation where we could either bring looks like most likely Isak at the minute, but Vlahovic is on the cards. I'd love to be really ambitious and look at maybe an Andre Silva. I'll start with Wijnaldum. As a loan deal for 6 months, would you take Wijnaldum on loan?
On a loan deal for 6 months?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yes, I
That was
would.
easy.
I mean, I look at our midfield options. Partey's away at the AFCON. I know the AFCON, it kind of doesn't. By the time the AFCON's finished, he's actually only really going to miss about 3 games. So it's not that much. But we do still need midfield options. I think, Lokonga is a decent player, but he's still young. He's not quite ready yet. So the only 2 real midfield options that we've got at the moment is Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey, and that seems to be the go-to pair at the moment. And I do think we need to, start thinking about later on in the season. For example, let's just say Thomas Partey goes to the AFCON and he gets injured and he's out for 4 months.
Yeah.
Who then is going to play in midfield? What, El Neni and Xhaka? Or, Lokonga and Xhaka? It's just, no. And Wijnaldum, I think he's a decent player. he was part of the Liverpool side that won the league, so he's got that winning
And the
mentality as
Champions
well,
League.
and the Champions League as well. So he can bring something a little bit different to our
You
side.
could
And
take Granit Xhaka out of the bloody side.
Hmm.
But knowing Arteta, he'll probably take Partey instead.
yeah.
You can see it, can't you? And you bring him in and say, yes, we're going to get rid of Xhaka. So Partey comes back. Xhaka, Wijnaldum starts and
mate,
that's not
Granit
part of the
Xhaka,
plan.
yeah, that geezer is not going anywhere. He was flirting with Rome all summer, flirting with Mourinho all summer, and then we go, yeah, mate, here's a new contract.
Yeah.
Like,
He's getting his testimonial here.
Mm.
I wonder what everyone's going to do with his testimonial. We're all just going to go, fuck off. Did you see the whole crowd just go? You hear the commentators is like, we apologise for any language that in offensive language that was used. They're just expressing how he expressed to them how he feels. So I'd actually turn up to that game just to do it. I really would. And just get a petition in on Twitter just to get everyone to do it. The whole of the North Bank just go, fuck off. Like, unprecedented, a testimonial fuck off by Arsenal Football Club. Yeah, we ain't swapping. I mean, I'd take Ronaldo if it meant we get Granit Xhaka out of the bloody side and put him on the bench for God knows what. But like you said, we try to get rid of him so many times. He's like that wart that you just can't get rid of off your face. Like, it's always there and you just can't get rid of the bloody thing. And it takes years of like stabbing it to get rid of it. Like, sorry, but he's like a wart. He's just someone you just don't want. Like, we move to obviously with Aubameyang. Aubameyang, we all know is done, finished now, and gone. He's done. I'm not gonna have a guy at him because he has done brilliantly for Arsenal. And obviously the last 2 seasons, but what he has done for the club, he single-handedly won the FA Cup in that against Chelsea. So, yeah. I mean, what do you make of that? Do you feel that what I'm trying to say? Do you feel we'll go to Newcastle, or do you feel we're gonna have to sort of sit out of this like an Özil situation?
I'll be surprised if he goes to Newcastle. I will be surprised. Very surprised, in fact. I don't know. The Aubameyang situation is quite a tough one to call. It really is, because it's like, I feel kind of sorry for the guy, because, like you said, he carried this team for like 3 years nearly. But at the same time, it's almost like he just don't want it no more. I think he's lost his.
I think
pace.
somewhere he's been lied to be honest. I think he's not
Yeah,
really
you
been.
might be right.
He might have been promised things, I think, by Arteta. Because don't forget, this is a manager that promised Willian we're going to win a Champions League in 3 years.
Yeah.
By the way, it's now a different project. It's now Project Youth. So that means there's that 4-year process has got to start again now.
Yeah, so you probably are right, mate. You probably are right. When he signed his new contract, he probably was promised, this, that, and the other, just like Willian was. But then all of a sudden it's turned to a Project Youth and, trust the process and all this, bollocks. And he's probably just fed up with being lied to.
There you go. He's still Arteta out there.
He's probably fed up with being lied to. He's probably sat there thinking, look, I'm coming towards the end of my career now. I want to be winning major honours. I don't want to be, trying to fight for top 4 and Champions League. And, I haven't got it in me anymore. I think he's lost his pace a little bit as well. He seems to have lost his hunger in front of goal. And it's just one of them things. But it begs the question again, Stephen, why have we offered him such a huge contract
I
huge
think at the
contract.
minute is that I think we also put ourselves in that situation is that because we only got Europa League and by the skin of our teeth by winning the FA Cup, like it meant that we had to sort of give him a big contract to convince him to stay because he could have everyone in Europe was after him, like so, and he could have
But at the
quite
same
easily gone
time,
to any
mate,
Champions League club. And I think, to be honest, it because if we put ourselves in a Champions League position, we could have offered him less money because he knows he's playing Champions League football. But because you have to sort of financially compensate for not getting Champions League football, which we were predicted supposed to get by the end of that season, because everyone was predicting top four that season. So after what we'd managed to achieve the season beforehand, so yeah, for me, it's we had to financially compensate by giving him such a big contract, which obviously in the end has really hit us in the foot. And don't get me wrong, I was one of those who wanted him to sign. Obviously, I just saw him win me the FA Cup. I want him to sign. So, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. And we all wish we could have hindsight before it happens, but it doesn't always turn out that way. So, I mean, Trippier's now just signed for them as well. So, it could also be a sign that they've Newcastle. If Auburn decides to go to Newcastle, one thing's for sure, Newcastle are going straight up, flying back up the table, for a start.
They got that Arab money, mate. Like fucking Buster Rhymes.
Yeah.
Money.
All you're gonna getting out is like your posters for human rights and everything, right? And do you know what? I'm sitting there. It says and by the way, they say human rights. I'm a Lewis Hamilton supporter, so he was bigging up human rights throughout all three of those Grand Prix. Max Verstappen wasn't, by the way. I bet you're shaking your head over that result, but there you go.
I tell you, I know it's off topic, mate, but I watched that last Grand Prix and what a race that was. Honestly, I never expected it to
Have
get
you
to the
seen
final
my
lap.
clip of what happened at the end of that?
I couldn't believe that they let the lap cars through, but only the ones in front of Verstappen. Surely they've got to let all the lap cars through.
Yeah, but no, the one is because it says any, so the wording says any, so it doesn't have to be all. But the worst bit is you let the safety car in on the following lap, which meant it would have been the last lap, which meant Hamilton would have won the title. That's the rule.
Do you
And
think
they broke that rule?
Do you think Hamilton will retire now? Because if he goes again next season,
he's threatened with a penalty. All I'm saying is he's been threatened with a 10-place grid penalty for not turning up at the prize giving gala because he's one of the top 3 drivers.
Right.
And I'm like, if you're going to give him a penalty for that, I would literally just say to Hamilton, they don't deserve you. Get lost.
But it's a shame though,
for that
isn't it?
sport,
Because
he's doing such things for that sport to make it equal and diverse.
I mean, some people don't like Hamilton, and I don't understand why. He's a British driver at the end of the day, and I kind of think I don't want him to retire. I don't want him to retire because if he goes again next season and he wins the title, he's the most decorated Formula One driver ever.
Well, he's already is because he's already matched the record and he's beaten him and wins podiums. God knows what else. So he already is.
So, I would go for that 8th championship if I was him. But yeah, anyway, moving on from Hamilton.
It doesn't really matter. I think for him, it's just been the fact that he's trying to make it more equal and fair for everyone to get in. And if people can't see that and be nice about that, then you've got a problem. Seriously have been. Not saying Max did deserve the championship the way he performed this season. It's the way it was done. It was the way it was run. And I'm sorry, it was just I can't stand rules being broken. If it was the other way around, I couldn't stand it. Couldn't accept it. Even as a Hamilton fan, I wouldn't have been able to accept it. So, but if you want to check my reaction at the end of the watch along, I was like that. 2 laps, it's fine, got it. They're not gonna let Castle, got it. Then literally the next clip is they said all that cars, like, the lap cars going through, and I'm like, no, that's bollocks. It's fixed. It's fucking fixed. I'm tearing the I'm shouting down the freaking stairs. I'm launching stuff out the window. I've gone. Like red mist. I've done red mist. Like anyone who's in the chat, usually I have a problem. I don't usually have a problem with anyone, but the ones I do have a problem with, who came in my chat, I just like, don't come near me, I'll fucking kill ya. Like, I lost the plot. But yeah, if you want to check that out, go check that out. It's on a different show, and there will always be a debate about. Yeah, there'll always be a debate about that one. Don't worry about that. But anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, sorry. But yeah. Back to the topic of Arsenal, and we could mention Ham a little bit because he was an Arsenal fan after all. But look, as much as with Arsenal, I'd love to say with our striking option, for example, with Vlahovic is a good option for me. Isak is a major risk for me. I know we're going for young players, but I think we've got enough young players. I think we now need that experienced man in the midfield, which is a 6-month loan Wijnaldum, and then someone permanent, like about 27, 28, something like that, in that bracket. Then a 27, 28-year-old up front and a 27, 28-year-old in defence. So you've got in a spine of experienced players that are at the top level. Right? So that way, when the team's doing what happened against Man City, you've got someone with an experienced, balanced head that can go, like, get hold of Gabriel and just go, shut the fuck up, behave and do as you're told, like, and keep their head in the game. Because I think that's the thing. Because they were so young and they were like, we're beating Man City 1-0, like, and because decisions were going against us, they've lost their heads because they were getting worried that they're losing this game, which they got really excited for that they're winning, because they didn't think they'd be in that position. So I think that's why I feel we need someone experienced. So Vlahovic for me, or Andre Silva. I mean, Andre Silva, like, I didn't know anything really about him last season, but when I saw his record this season from last season, and even now scoring 3 goals in 6 games in the Champions League, I'd take him by a mile. If we were ambitious, we'd go to Leipzig, which is the more ambitious thing to do because they're a big club, and go, don't care how much it costs, I want him. Like, that would make a statement, like, of our intentions. So Vlahovic is not saying it's not good option. Sebastian Haller, that's a good option. I might also put the link in the chat, guys, if you do want to come on later. Yeah, what would you say? Like, out of it, because, and what do you say? Because obviously first with Isak, because a lot of links and strong, like, look like we could be getting Isak at the minute.
I think we should go get Joel Linton.
A swap deal for Oba.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you're being serious.
No, I'm joking.
Thank fuck for that.
Be honest with you, right? Isak.
Hang on, before you go, I just got this in from him.
As far as Isak is concerned, I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't know much about this striker at all.
I didn't know until I saw the Euros. He was playing for Sweden.
Yes,
and he did all right. He did all right there. But he's with Welsh Sociedad. His goal tally is quality for a youngster. He's getting the goals, but not only the goals that you would expect at a 22-year-old, not a fully fledged international that should be getting over 20 goals a season. He hasn't reached over 20 goals a season yet. And this is the thing. People also mention about Calvert-Lewin because of the fact he's Premier League proven. But then Calvert-Lewin is very injury prone, and has Isak and also has Calvert-Lewin scored over 20 goals in the league for Arsenal, because we would sit there and moan, and we did after the 2015-16 season. We sat there and moaned because we didn't win a title, because we didn't have a striker such as Giroud scoring over 20 goals a season, which if we did, we would have won the title. Right? So if we're moaning about that back then, why are we now lowering ourselves to that level to try and get someone who can't get over 20 goals in a season when he's been in the Premier League for 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
That's my big problem. And also, he's playing in La Liga, which is supposed to be probably an easier league. So that's my big guess on it. Is that, and the age is just a big risk.
Striker's a tough one. Very tough one.
It's a risk no matter what you do.
I'll be completely honest with you, Stephen. Right? If it was me,
Bender and Sanogo up front, the postman up front. Would you take Origi? Absolutely not. You can keep him.
If it was me, I'm sorry, King Tony, mate, but I'd be looking at Ivan Toney.
Okay.
It'd be one of the options that I'd be looking at. Also, as well, right? Also, as well, there are 2 players.
King Tony would have to change his name then. King Brentford.
There are 2 players that I really, really like and think would suit our system, but I know for a fact we'll never get them. We'll never get them.
Who's that?
One of them's Mason Greenwood.
Okay.
Yeah. Young player, scores goals. Yeah. Doesn't really get that many opportunities at Manchester United at the moment because
that's a good point.
They've got Ronaldo, they've got Cavani.
Him and Martinelli together, Jesus Christ.
It'll never happen. Never in a million years am I sitting here saying that Arsenal can get Mason Greenwood.
If we could offer him all the money in the world, Man United would not do it.
But there is one player from Manchester United who we could get. And I think if he is played it correctly, and if he is also, drilled correctly, I think he'd bang goals. And I think he's been misused at Manchester United. And that's Anthony Martial.
Yeah, Martial.
That'd be one player.
Do you know what? I've always rated Martial. I've always had that feeling with Martial. I think he's been and I've always said that. I think he's been misused. Some people, I've seen Man United fans, and I don't watch Man United every week, so I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything about Man United. But I do watch. I know a lot of our Man United fans who doesn't, and they do say his attitude does lack at times, and that's my biggest bugbear with him, because when I do see games, he does lack that attitude at times. I will just quickly mention though, Origi, you need to build a statue of him outside the Emirates. He won the Champions League against Spurs and saved your ass. Shut up. We'll keep that on the low, shall we? By the way, even if they did win the Champions League, they're still not a bigger club in England than us. End of. Carry on.
Well, the other thing as well, right? Let's say, for example, we went and got Anthony Martial. He's available. We know he is.
He's joking.
Right?
He's joking. He's joking.
If we went and got Anthony Martial, we know he's available. Yeah. If we went and got him, you could interchange, because he can also play on the left as well, and he likes cutting in. So, for me, you could interchange him and Martinelli, so they could sort of switch positions throughout the game. Because Martinelli, he's another player that, I think we've got to our football club already, and if he's taught the role properly, he would bang so many goals from striker. He really would.
Do you know what I think he is? When I first set my eyes on Martinelli, and the fact he played on left wing and play as a striker, which he did very well against Liverpool, I was thinking about Aubameyang. I was thinking, that's an Henry type too. It's a Brazilian Henry, that is. I'm looking at him, that is a Brazilian Henry. Player started as a left winger, move him up front, he'll bang goals for fun. And he'll drift to the left and bring people into play. Like and you saw it when he played up front. I think against Liverpool, he drifted to the left, he drifted to the left, he drifted to the left, and I'm like, it's like, oh my god, I got Henry back. Like I got a Brazilian version of Henry. Like this is brilliant. Like it's for me, I would love to see Martinelli get his chance up front and be used as a striker, but then can drift to the left, like, and let Martial cut inside, which he loves to do and take players on, because we've seen that before when he first turned up at Man United, his first goal, like unbelievable skill, like cutting inside and taking people apart. He could drift. So you got Martinelli drifting left, Martial cutting in, like plus with Smith Rowe in the middle, right, Saka on the right coming in. Mate, that's just fucking scary thinking about it. Like, I'll do anyone. Like,
I kind of look at our squad at the moment, right, and our team, and we're getting away with not having a striker.
nice try.
Yeah, we're getting away with not having a striker that scores goals at the moment because it's weird how it's gone the other way, right? 2 seasons ago, we was complaining because we didn't get no goals from midfield. And Aubameyang was,
Yeah.
the goal poacher who scored the majority of our goals, if not.
I remember saying on AFTV once, like, what would we do without Aubameyang?
And now all of a sudden, we've got a striker who cannot score goals, but our midfield is going mad. But
hang on, sorry, Danny, before I say, when a Brazilian Henry, what I meant is he's got the potential. I'm not saying he is the quality, he's got potential to be. Like, Martinelli's ceiling is through the roof. Like, it's in the stars, mate. Like, he's got the potential to be a major, major success at Arsenal and be a world beater at Arsenal. He's got the potential. We've got the facilities to do that. Like,
I don't think Henry's a good comparison.
Like,
I think the best comparison.
That's what I just initially thought, is that he could be that someone.
I think the best comparison for me for Gabriel Martinelli is Alexis Sanchez. It reminds me so much of it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Sanchez was just, some of his skill was just sexy football. Sexy football, I've got to admit. Granit Xhaka up front, Guilt. Luke, you're on a mad one tonight. I might just invite you on to be on a mad one, mate. Like, plus, Luke, let us know when you're free to do an F1 podcast, because I need to talk to you about this freaking Silverstone accident, because you need to get it out your system, man. It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50. You're side by side. Like, I'm not going on it again, but it's 50-50. Like, it's like, if we can't make moves in motor racing like that anymore, then there's no point. There's no point to it. Martinelli is the next Henry. He's got the potential. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's gonna be defo. He's got potential. More Lewis than Max. But look, 60-40 then. You could say 60-40, but Max can take part of the blame as well. I'm not gonna have anyone say it said it's completely got. Like, yeah, but he shouldn't get any more than that. I think he only got that because Max went flying into a wall. Like, to be honest, like if Max, I literally said this: if Max didn't go flying into a wall when he only had a broken front wing, he never got a penalty. Never. He never got a penalty. The only reason he did is because there was a massive impact and he had to act. So that's what I probably felt, the way how incompetent the FIA are. Like, Martial for Italy, yeah. No, but Max was nowhere near next alongside him. He had no right to be there. No right. He was never side by side.
Don't get him started on F1 again.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, and if it weren't for the halo, right? Unlike Max, he could have survived that crash without the halo, right? With Hamilton's crash, if it was without the halo, Lewis Hamilton would be in a 6-foot ditch, right, or cremated. He would have been dead. So that's all I'm saying. Move on. I'm gonna have to do another stream about it. I'm telling you, it's still a talking point even now. Bro, his scoring rate at his age, you can say Martinelli is on his way. He's on his way to the next big thing. He's definitely the next big thing.
Hey,
Like, it's him, Saka, Smith Rowe.
I would go as far as saying Martinelli is the best player overall at our football club. Even
Ooh,
now.
damn. Jesus. So, yeah, and fair play. He's one of... Do you know what? If you're looking for prospects from Arsenal, him, Saka, and Smith Rowe are the top three. By a mile. I don't care anyone else you could put in that. By a mile, they are the top three people. Top three. Top three. So, your best players are Luke. Get out of here! Like, get in the bin. Get in the bin. Like, right.
This is a good
Luke,
point, right?
Luke, are you? Hang on a minute. Like, you worry about like your manager moaning about getting games called off, like because you can't put up a full strength side. I think you should play with you under 23s. I've been backing you lot saying that you deserved your postponement, right? Because Arsenal fans would say the same thing. Because Arsenal, everyone's saying that they should just play the under 23s. Yet when Arsenal, if it was the other way around, Arsenal would be saying, no, we need it called off. We can't put a team out, right? But because it's Liverpool, they're saying, no, you should lump it and play with the under 23s. Like, so you got to be fair. So I've been fair saying that you can't have it both ways. Like, if you're going to carry on like this, I'm just going to say, nah, fuck you. You can have under 23s. Yeah, you're going to win the Champions League or the league or something. Right? You've won trophies. You've won big trophies. We need anything we can get. 16 players have COVID. Yeah, what did you do? Have a rave? What you do? Like, we told you no raving on New Year's Day. Right?
Luke brings me to it brings me to a question that I've got to ask you, Stephen.
Oh God, what did I do?
Yeah. At the moment, I know it's only January, but at the moment, Arsenal are doing, I would say, okay. You know, we're in the top four at the moment.
Doing all right.
We're doing all right. We're doing better than what we expected anyway, right?
Well, after the first 3 games, definitely.
What does Arteta have to achieve this season in order for you to give him another season?
I originally said top 6 because I didn't think he would reach that far, right? And I did feel a bit like it didn't really need Champions League that much because we'd be making up numbers, and either way, we'd still be spending over £100 million on the next transfer window because they've backed themselves into a corner that they have to stick by it, right? Because this is their process, you know what I mean? So they have. So I did say top 6 because you've got to get us back in Europe, so then we can at least try and attract the best players, because we can still attract good players in Europa League. We can do it. Just pay it, even if you have to pay a little bit extra. With the way we are now and the way we are playing, if he wants to be shown that he can handle it and keep up this, he now needs to finish top 4.
In order for you to give him another season next season?
Yep.
Okay.
Because of what he's managed to do right now, he now needs to win top 4, and then I'd say, okay, you've earned your chance to be in the Champions League.
Yeah.
You can't get in the top 4 and then get rid of the guy saying, oh yeah, thanks, but we want someone else now. Because he spent, because I'll tell you what, all those players will just go, but that's not fair. He's just given you top 4. He surely gets the chance to compete in it.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to give him a chance to play, and he's earned the right to go take his team into the Champions League. So you've got to give him that right. So Europa League, he's already done it and he's cocked it up, right? So Champions
So-
League, he hasn't
so-
done that before.
So, say for example, we don't finish in the top 4 this season, and we finish 5th or 6th. Would you still give him next season?
If we've missed out via if we missed out via a point or two, because that's what happens in football because of bad calls in a game, in one particular game or something like that. You can say, okay, you've done well because you've challenged for top 4, which I didn't think you were gonna do. Right? If you've missed out by 10, 12 points, like no, come on, like that's not competing for it. Like you need to be a minimum 4 to 5 points away from the top 4 to say you've competed and challenged for it, right? But if you're, and especially with the top 4 is a closer challenge than the league is usually. You usually finish about 1 or 2 points between each other. So yeah, so for me, like you've got to be 1 to 4 points away from the top 4 to say you deserve another season. Like if it's more than that, then you got to get rid of him. It doesn't mean I'm not tearing like by a mile, because in the end he's got to beat Klopp, Pep, Tuchel, and Conte, all to a league, because that's what I want to work. I want to win a league, and he's not going to do that. He's not got the tactical nous to do that, and that's what I see in the games. In the games, when it gets to the second half, and you notice that the substitutions are very predictable. Like when the substitutions are very predictable. Like what we intend to do once we bring the players on seems to be very predictable, and that's how I think Man City also in that game managed to work it out in the end, because it became very predictable to him of knowing what Arsenal were going to do. And that's the problem. He seems to fail. Even the Man United game, if you change that game tactically, we'd win that game. Right? We could have put more pressure on the Liverpool game if he changed that midway through the first half, because it won't work in the first 20 minutes. So that's the problem. He doesn't change things in game, very rarely. So you know what I mean. You've got to prove also in the games that you can change in game management to outsmart these managers, because you can't beat them just because you've got the best side, because they've all got top quality sides. So you've got to beat them in a tactical battle, and he can't do that. He hasn't got the tactical nous because he hasn't got the experience. It's not a crime to say it. He hasn't got the experience, which means he hasn't got the tactical nous to do it, because you need to learn it first. Simple for me. So yeah. How can you spend 300 million and expect them not to finish in top 4? If you're 1 or 2 points because of a bad decision in one particular game, mate, it can happen like that in football. But it's at least you've challenged for the top 4. Stephen, keep the money we spend in mind. Teams who spend as much as we do normally win the year. Yeah, but Games FC, I hear your point, but look how far away we are as a side. Look how far away we were as a side, and how poor our side is. Right? That's why we've had to spend so much to get it even to top 4, because of how far off we were as a side. We were out of the title race by December, usually. So that's how far off we'd be, and we would be at the top 4 race by February. So that's why we had to spend so much now to get into sort of top 4, because we're so far off. Klopp and Tickle, great managers. El Nino are no longer at Arsenal, gonna miss. El Nenny's still there, bringing Graham Potter, slithering away, gets top 4. Yeah, bring Graham Potter in. Like, yeah, would you take Graham Potter?
I would, just to see the Arsenal fan base react in the way that I know they would, because he looks like Lee Gunner.
Lee Gunner's twin. Do you know what? I remember when Lee Gunner came on, like he came on to this show right? And it was the children's. It was the Big Yellow Friday celebrations, and don't worry, we'll be doing another stream sort of like that again at some point. And he came on for 10 minutes, and Talk asked him a question. He said, "Would you take Graham Potter in?" And he went, "Because he's my twin." Like, and my Talk didn't realise that like Graham Potter looked like my twin. And I'm just like, you didn't realise that? Are you serious? So yeah, that was. If you haven't seen that, that's a 10-minute clip on there. You can check that out. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to mention about Arsenal at the moment? Any concerns you have? Because I was gonna open it up to the lines, but if you've got 10 minutes, I might do it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I always have concerns about Arsenal, mate.
Well, there's always a concern with Arsenal. Trust me. I think there's always concerns with any club.
The biggest thing that concerns me about Arsenal isn't actually Arsenal; it's the Arsenal fan base. You know, I tend to see people get themselves run away. You know, a bit too carried away with certain things. At the end of the day, we've got to realise we are still only in January. The season doesn't finish until May. There's a long way to go yet. Yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing all right at the moment, and I'll 100% praise the team and praise the manager when it's due. However, I am still sitting back, waiting in the wings, because I know that at some point, Mikel Arteta and Arsenal
he's going to press the self-destruct button.
They will slip and fall on their arse. It will happen. It will happen.
Yeah, that's the thing, and like that's the problem. Arsenal fans just when you saw that 5-0, and do you know what? Like, I get one or two of them in the chat, like, and Drake's his name. He's like, I think he's a lovely guy, probably. Like, if you met him in person, but my God, he's probably the most deluded guy on the planet. Like, and we've always said, like, come on a watch along in the chat and start messaging in the chat. Like be there from minute 1 to 90, then after the game. But you're never there. Like, and it's only once you've won the game, you're all turning up. Like, we won against Norwich. He said, "Oh, the process is banged," and I'm like, we're beating Norwich 5-0. Are you serious? Right, you're getting hyped over a 5-0 battering over Norwich. Yes, we played well, but even in parts of that game, we could have easily slipped up if it was any decent side, right? Because I look at the performance, not just the result. But he's like, "Oh yeah, the process is banged. Have you not believed yet?" And I'm like, it's Norwich who are getting relegated. Get a grip. And people saying I'm being negative over it. No, it's called being realistic.
The funniest thing for me, mate, is how quickly the Arsenal fans turn from one to the other. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of people that I saw after Everton going, "That's it, it's done.
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta out." Rah, 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 rah.
No, do you know what? I remember after the first 3 games, I remember even YouTubers, like much bigger YouTubers than we are, like, they said after the first 3 games that it can't be done anymore. He's got to go. Got to go. And then after we beat Tottenham, I'm sitting there reading through Twitter and in hospital, right? And I'm looking for it. And this same person, she's got about 5,000-6,000 subscribers, on Twitter. And she also goes on a big channel. If I type her name in, you might know who she is. I typed in the private chat.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, after the Tottenham one, like, she's tweeted out saying maybe I was a bit too early going Arteta out. I can see things, and I'm like, we just beat Burnley 1-0 for a free kick. Barely scored against Norwich, and we beaten Tottenham, who was shit throughout the whole game. And when they did turn up in the second half, we couldn't score a goal, and they won 1-0 actually in that half. Like, are you for real? Like, You've basically done it to suit the wave. You knew everyone was going Arteta out after Man City because they had 9% possession. So let's ride the wave of let's go Arteta out because that's what everyone is saying now because that's all they want to hear, right? And now everyone wants to be Arteta in again. You've now switched saying, "Oh, I was a bit too early. I was a bit naive," right? And I remember reading the comments and everyone saying you flip flopped, basically, because you
I
wanted
reckon,
it
right?
because it's like you wanted to boost your own views or subscribers or something. I don't know. That's like why.
I reckon, right? I reckon what would make a great YouTube video, right, is you get the Arsenal fan base together, the whole lot, get them outside the Emirates,
Yeah,
get the Arteta inners on one side and the Arteta outers on the other side, and then we'll do a little rendition to the Okie Kokie. We say Arteta in, Arteta out, in, out, take
that's
it
right.
all
You know,
about. I think
this is
that'd be
what I'm
excellent.
saying. Look, that people like sit here, and I've had even like asked, even people not even Arsenal fans saying I'm being negative because we're beating Norwich 5-0 and I'm moaning about it, and I'm like, because of the performance. Look at the performance. There are. I'm picking out points in the game that are worrying, and then when we come to play Man City, those parts of the game where it was mentality and the game management proved to be our downfall. Right? So what are we all saying now? So there you go. So it's I'm pointing them out because that's what you need to do. It's all part analysis. Right? I'm not gonna say we've beaten 5-0, everything's wonderful and rosy in the garden. Because it's Norwich. It's Norwich. It's not Man City. If we beat Man City 5-0, then trust me, I'm having a fucking party. Like I'm having a party, I'm getting champagne out because like that never happened. But you've got to be objective of who the team is and how the performance has gone during the game. I've watched the game and that's what I've seen. I've seen areas in the game where if we played a decent side, we'd get torn apart.
Mm.
So, and that's the whole point of it. And that's the whole point of this channel as well. As much as we raise money for Children's Liver Disease Foundation, we give you what I feel. That's my opinion, and I will stick with my opinion until Arteta gets me into a title race. Until he does that, I am not. And until he actually does a full title race, which is up till late April, May, not till January, right? Like Wenger did, but a proper title race, then I'll say I got it wrong, right? But until then, no way. So like, I mean, what about you? Like, where would you stand with Arteta? Where would you say, like, if he proves to you that he's proved you wrong?
Well, in order, like a similar sort of answer to what you gave me earlier to the question I asked you. I've always said from the beginning of this season that we have a good enough squad to get top four this season, and people sat there and went, "No, we haven't. You're talking bollocks." Blah blah blah. Look at us. We're in the top four. I know. You know, Manchester United haven't been what they've should be this season. At the end of the day, Manchester United with the squad that they've got, they should be challenging for the title, let alone the top four. And it's just gone horribly wrong for them. So we've kind of taken advantage of that a little bit. But I've said from the beginning of this season that if Mikel Arteta cannot get us top four this season, as difficult as that might be, then I don't think he deserves another season in charge. Because at the end of the day, we finished the last two seasons in eighth, and it's not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. You know, we've got to remember this is Arsenal Football Club, the third biggest football club in the country, whether people like it or not. We need to be winning trophies and challenging for titles, and all this. And we need to be playing Champions League football. So it's all right. People keep giving him a free pass and, oh, we finished eighth last season. It's okay. Oh, we finished eighth the season before. It's okay. How long is it going to be okay for? We've
Mm.
been out of the Champions League for 5 years now. We need to get back in the Champions League. And this is a great opportunity to do it. So for me, he has to get top 4 this season in order to be able to get another season. If he gets top 4 this season, I will give him next season to see what kind of players we can attract and what kind of, business we can do in the Champions League. Are we going to be a
Would
team?
you be the same? Would you give him an extra season if he missed out by a point or two, which is what I mentioned earlier?
Depends on the circumstance.
Yeah,
Depends on
okay.
the like if it was like what you said earlier, where it was we missed out by a point or two because of a poor refereeing decision that cost us a game or something like that, then I would say, oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to not want to, it's kind of hard for me to want to give him another opportunity. At the end of the day, he's had 2 years in the job. I know he's not
Yeah.
experienced, but he has shown that he can get us to a point where we can get Champions League football. And I think he has had a tough job. I will give him this. He has had a tough job. He's had to change the culture within Arsenal, so I
Yeah.
will give him that. He has done that. You can see the mentality is a little bit different to how it used to be with young players as well. And so yeah, but for me, I'm the same as you, Stephen. Arsenal Football Club, they need to be up there challenging for league titles, in my opinion. And if Arteta can get us there, the first step is getting in top 4 and getting, Champions League football. And if he can get us there, then fair play to him. And I will sit here and I'll say I was wrong. But until he reaches that point, I'm not going to say I'm Arteta in,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to
Exactly.
say that I'm Arteta out. If he gets top 4 this season, I won't be Arteta out anymore, but I won't be Arteta in. I will be, right, let's see what Arsenal can do now, because we've seen it under Wenger, where we finish in top 4 and then we don't make any progress from there. Are we going to be that club again? Or are we going to be the club that, tries to progress and win a league title? I don't know.
Absolutely, James FC agrees. It's like he just mentioned next year, Stephen, next year or the year after, I mean, when are you thinking we're winning something? Look, if we challenge the cups either way, no matter what, if we get top 4, and this is what I've said, if we get top 4, then we should be aiming for the league. If not the next season, but the season after, then definitely. Because I think next season will probably be a bit too immature to try and go straight from top 4 to try and go in the league. Unless we do an absolute madness in the transfer window. I still feel that we're still, even if we did get 4 or 5 players, it would still be players short of challenging for the league.
Yeah.
And then if we then manage to secure top 4 at the end of the next season and then go again, then we should be challenging for a league. So 2 seasons from this season, we should be aiming for a league. And if we're not anywhere near there, then then it's definitely he's not good enough, and we're perfectly right.
I completely agree with you. It's near on impossible to challenge for a league title as the season after you've just qualified for
Fight for
top
yeah,
4 after not finishing top 4 for 5 years, because you've got to think these players have then got to get used to playing European football again. On top of trying to win the league, and it's just you can't make that much progress all at once. Not without being like a Man City or a Chelsea where you just chuck shitloads of money at it all in one transfer window. We know we're not going to do that as Arsenal Football Club. So, yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna leave it there because it's running late. We've got packed shows tomorrow as well. What have we got tomorrow? Guys? It would be the 5th, wouldn't it? So tomorrow at 6 p.m. we have still got the preview. Bearing in mind it's still going ahead. The preview, if we are still unconfirmed that it's cancelled, if we haven't got a confirmation it's been cancelled, then we're going ahead with the preview. Then at 10 p.m. we have got the FA Cup third round preview, which is the only time we could do the third round preview with the Nottingham Forest fans. So we're doing it before the Liverpool game, which is a bit weird, but there you go. So that'll be at 10 p.m. Unfortunately, couldn't be any earlier. But yeah, that'll be done then. So yeah, Brandon, obviously, people, guys, his link's in the chat, pinned in the chat. Make sure you go and subscribe right now. Where can they find you other than your new channel?
Other than my new channel, you can find me on Twitter. I think it's still Brandon AFC TV on Twitter, but
Yeah.
I will be, you know, altering that and changing that and stuff like that. I'm hoping that if all goes well, I'll probably have a preview to bring to you guys as well. So when you're finished watching the preview on Stephen's channel, make sure you head over to my channel as well. Make sure you subscribe in. We're going to do this YouTube thing properly, and yeah, it'd be nice to see all you guys over there as well. Big up to you, Stephen. Thanks for having us on again this evening.
No
mate.
worries, man. And I tell you what, we'll definitely get collabing as well and doing more streams together as well. Because I think I'll be work really well because I think it was really good tonight as well. So yeah, so definitely we'll be planning that as well. So you'll be seeing a lot more of him on SFeatleyTV as well. As usual, who hit the like button and subscribe, do hit the join button as well, guys. The join button, if you can join, especially if you're level 2 and higher, which is $4.99 a month instead of $1.99 a month for the first level, you get access to members only live streams. Once we get about 10 Featly warriors, which is level 2 we call them, or higher, you will be able to be part of those members only live streams once we get enough of those members. So if you do know anyone who can spare that money for every month for Children's Liver Disease Foundation, please do get them to subscribe right now, and do get them to hit the join button as well, because it'd be really, really helpful and really will support the charity. But always will support the charity is just by making sure, if you check any of our videos, watch the adverts. I know they're annoying, but they do. Watching them does generate more money for us, and also just watching the stream just helps the generate money as well. So, and it all goes to the Children's Liver Disease Foundation as usual. So make sure you do that. And yeah, we're back tomorrow at 6 p.m. But until then, everyone stay safe, stay well, guys, and we'll see you soon.